I want you to picture this moment because I've heard it described through tears more times than I can count. You're standing at the TSA checkpoint, heart light, mind already on your grandkids, or that river cruise through Europe you've planned for years. Shoes in the bin, carry-on on the belt, and then everything stops. A tired TSA officer in a blue shirt calls out, "Whose bag is this?" You raise your hand. They unzip it and pull out your liquid nutrition, your cough syrup, or that gel medication you rely on. They glance at the bottle and say it's over 3.4 ounces and not allowed. You try to explain that it's medicine, that you can't replace it overseas, but the officer points at the sign. Rules are rules. You don't have time to leave the line. You're terrified of missing the flight, so you watch them drop your $80 medication into a gray trash bin. That dull thud isn't just money wasted. It's your health being compromised before you even board. If you're over 60, medication isn't optional. It's not a convenience. It's life support, and it can mean the difference between a joyful trip and a medical emergency at 30,000 feet. I'm here to tell you that officer was wrong, but because you didn't know the exact words to say or how federal law actually works, you lost that battle. Today, I'm going to give you the script, the packing rules, and the industry knowledge that ensures no security agent ever takes your lifeline again. If we haven't met, hello. My name is Mila. I've been a flight attendant for 15 years, and I work beside TSA every single day. I know how their systems work, where confusion happens, and what goes wrong after security. I've seen the panic in row 12 when a passenger realizes their insulin was gate-checked. I've held hands during hypertensive crises caused by skipped doses. Travel today is faster, stricter, and louder. Agents aren't pharmacists. They don't know your medical needs unless you tell them clearly and correctly. By the end of this video, you'll walk into that checkpoint knowing your rights and exactly how to protect yourself, starting with the biggest misunderstanding most travelers still believe. That misunderstanding is the famous 311 rule, the one you've been trained to obey for years. Liquids in containers larger than 3.4 ounces go in the trash, and everything must fit inside a single quart-size bag. So you adapt. You leave your prescription mouthwash at home. You pour expensive liquid supplements into tiny unlabeled bottles. Sometimes you don't bring the medication at all because you don't want the stress. This is where the system quietly fails seniors. Here is the truth that matters. Medically necessary liquids are exempt from the 311 rule under federal law. You are legally allowed to bring liquid medication in any quantity through security. 8 ounces, 12 ounces, even more if you need it for the duration of your trip. It does not need to fit in the plastic bag. It does not need to be under the size limit. But there is a critical catch that almost no one explains. When you transfer medication into cute travel bottles or unmarked containers, you actually make the situation worse. TSA scanners don't read labels. They read density and chemical signatures. A random liquid in an unlabeled bottle looks suspicious, not medical. That's when bags get pulled, agents get tense, and items get confiscated. I once worked a flight from Chicago to London with a passenger named Mr. Abernathy, a type 1 diabetic. 3 hours into the flight, he hit the call button, drenched in sweat, hands shaking badly. He was crashing. I asked if he had his rescue juice or glucose gel. He stared at me and said the TSA agent told him he couldn't bring the juice boxes because they were over the limit, so he threw them away. He had discarded his safety net because he thought the rule was absolute. We had to scramble, raid the galley for juice, and monitor him closely for an hour. That medical scare never should have happened. Here's exactly how you handle this next time. Keep every liquid medication in its original container with the pharmacy label clearly visible. Do not transfer it. Do not hide it inside your bag. Before your bin goes into the scanner, look directly at the TSA officer and say, "I have medically necessary liquids in this bin that exceed 3.4 ounces and require additional screening." Say it calmly and clearly. They may run the bottle through a vapor test or wipe it for residue. It takes about 30 seconds. Then they hand it back to you, and you move on with your full supply intact. Now let's talk about pills, because this is another silent trap. Those weekly pill organizers feel convenient and harmless. TSA technically allows them for domestic flights, but state laws vary, and international rules are far stricter. When a bag is pulled and an agent sees loose pills in multiple colors with no labels, they have to stop and investigate. Worse, many hand creams and heart medications contain glycerin, which can trigger explosive trace detectors. I once saw a grandmother miss her flight because a swab of her loose pills set off an alarm after she applied heavy lotion. The solution is backup verification. Ask your pharmacist to print a current medication summary, fold it, and keep it rubber banded to your organizer. And if an agent needs to handle your pills, you are allowed to say, "Please change your gloves before touching my medication." That isn't rude, it's your right. That right becomes even more important when your medication needs temperature control, because this is where physics quietly overrides common sense. This is secret number 3, and it catches people every single day. TSA allows ice packs for medical cooling, but only if they are frozen solid. The moment an ice pack becomes slushy, partially melted, or soft, it is legally considered a liquid. Once it becomes a liquid, it falls under the same 311 restrictions. I met a woman named Carol who was traveling with a 3-month supply of insulin. She used inexpensive blue gel packs and got stuck in traffic on a hot day. By the time she reached security, the packs were soft. The agent told her they were liquid gels over the limit and threw them away. She boarded an 8-hour flight, terrified her insulin would spoil in her purse. That fear should never happen. Cheap gel packs melt too fast. You need hard-shell freezer packs or medical-grade packs designed to stay frozen for long periods. If you're staying in a hotel without a freezer, buy frozen food like peas or grapes. Solid frozen food is allowed. It's a solid, not a liquid. If it melts later, you can discard it without losing your medication. Before leaving for the airport, your packs should be rock hard. If they are sweating, place them in a sealed bag so no liquid is visible. Now we need to address a decision many exhausted travelers make to avoid the checkpoint altogether. They think it's easier to put medication in checked luggage. This is secret number 4, and it's dangerous. The cargo hold is not the cabin. While pressurized, it is exposed to extreme temperature swings. On a hot tarmac, bags can sit in metal containers reaching well over 100 degrees. At altitude, temperatures can drop sharply near the aircraft skin. Medications are chemicals. Heat can degrade them, cold can separate them. A pill that looks fine may be chemically useless. Airlines misplace thousands of bags every day. If your medication is in that bag and it goes missing, you are stranded without treatment in a foreign country. I worked a flight to Rome where a man checked his entire supply of blood pressure medication. His bag was lost for 4 days. By day 3, withdrawal and stress triggered a hypertensive crisis that landed him in an emergency room instead of with his family. Follow the split supply rule. The majority of your medication stays with you in the cabin, at your feet, not overhead. A small emergency supply can go in checked luggage, but never your primary supply. Now let's talk about implanted and wearable medical technology, because this is secret number 5. Insulin pumps, continuous glucose monitors, pacemakers, and similar devices do not belong in X-ray machines. Conveyor belt X-rays and body scanners use radiation that can corrupt medical device software. I had a passenger who removed her insulin pump to avoid attention and sent it through the scanner. Mid-flight, the device malfunctioned and overdosed insulin. She lost consciousness. You have the legal right to request a hand inspection. Say, "I am wearing a medical device that cannot be X-rayed." Expect a pat-down. Ask for privacy if needed. They may swab your hands instead. It is uncomfortable, but it protects your life. Never sacrifice safety to avoid inconvenience. Protecting your body at security is only half the battle, because the moment you cross an international border, the rules can change in ways that surprise even seasoned travelers. This is secret number 6, and it carries the most severe consequences. A medication that is perfectly legal in the United States can be considered a controlled or banned substance in another country. Drugs like Adderall, certain sleep aids, and common pain medications are widely prescribed at home, but in places like Japan, Singapore, or the United Arab Emirates, they can trigger detention or arrest. Your name on the bottle does not protect you. A doctor's note does not automatically protect you. The law of the country you are entering is the only law that matters. I've seen the aftermath of this more than once. A grandfather transiting through Dubai with prescribed pain medication containing codeine was pulled aside at customs. His passport was confiscated. He spent days in limbo while the embassy tried to resolve it. He wasn't a criminal. He was a tourist who didn't know the rules. 2 weeks before any international trip, you must check the embassy website for restricted medications. If you're unsure, email the embassy directly and ask if your medication is permitted. If it isn't, talk to your doctor about a temporary alternative. No vacation is worth risking jail over a pill. Now let's talk about a resource that almost no one knows exists. Secret number 7. TSA Cares is a free program designed specifically for travelers with medical conditions, disabilities, or anxiety. If you contact them 72 hours before your flight, they can arrange for a passenger support specialist to meet you at security. This officer escorts you through the checkpoint, explains your situation to other agents, and ensures your medical items are handled correctly. It changes everything. Instead of being questioned, you are assisted. I recommended this to a passenger with Parkinson's who dreaded security because her tremors made her look nervous. A specialist met her at the curb, guided her through a private lane, and stayed with her until she was through. For the first time in years, she didn't cry at security. Save the number. Use the service. Now, just when you think you're safe, you reach the gate. Flights today are full, overhead bins are tight, and gate agents are under pressure. This is the gate check ambush. They scan the line, point at your carry-on, and tag it before you can object. If your medication is inside that roller bag, it is about to disappear into the cargo hold. Once that door closes, you cannot get it back. I watched a 78-year-old woman forced to gate check her bag. She forgot her inhaler was inside. Mid-flight, she had an asthma attack triggered by perfume. Her bag was unreachable. The flight diverted. This was preventable. You need a medical bailout pouch. Keep all medications in a brightly colored bag inside your carry-on. When an agent says they need to check your bag, you calmly unzip it, remove the pouch, and then hand over the suitcase. Never surrender a bag until your medication is in your hand. Finally, we need to talk about money and insurance, because losing medication can become financially devastating faster than people realize. This is secret number 8, the insurance lockout, and it catches people completely off guard. Insurance lockout is the nightmare most travelers don't see coming until it's too late. In the United States, insurance companies operate on strict refill schedules. If you just picked up a 30-day supply of a medication last week and it is lost, confiscated, or stolen today, the system assumes you still have it. When you arrive at your destination and go to a pharmacy, the claim is often denied with 3 simple words: refill too soon. That means you are forced to pay the full cash price. For many common senior medications, that price is shocking. Blood thinners can cost hundreds of dollars. Biologic injections can cost thousands. I watched a couple arrive in Hawaii after a security issue caused one partner's liquid pain medication to be confiscated. At the pharmacy, insurance refused to cover it. The out-of-pocket price wiped out their food and excursion budget for the entire trip. Before you travel, call your insurance provider and ask for a vacation override or lost medication override. Explain that you will be traveling and need an advance supply to keep in a separate bag. Many plans allow this, but only if it's approved in advance. If you lose medication while already traveling, call your insurance company before you go to the pharmacy. Ask them to flag the medication as lost or stolen so the override code is activated. That single phone call can save you hundreds of dollars. We've talked about security, borders, and gates, but I want to zoom out for a moment because all of this knowledge serves one purpose: confidence. When you know the rules better than the person enforcing them, the fear evaporates. You stop rushing. You stop apologizing. You stop sacrificing your health to avoid inconvenience. Your medication is not a weakness. It is what allows you to keep living fully. I know standing barefoot in a loud security line can feel dehumanizing. I know being questioned about your health in public can feel uncomfortable. But advocacy is not confrontation. It is clarity. When you use the correct language, when you pack correctly, and when you plan ahead, you shift the dynamic. You are no longer a problem to be managed. You are a prepared traveler moving through the system with purpose. In the final part, I want to pull all of this together so you leave with a clear mental checklist and the calm assurance that nothing at the airport can take your health away from you again. That assurance comes from having a simple system in your head, one you can run through automatically no matter how chaotic the airport feels. Before you leave home, you know your liquids are in original containers, labeled and declared properly. Your pills are organized with documentation. Your cold medications are protected with solid packs. Your devices are hand-inspected. Your bailout pouch is ready. Your insurance is pre-approved. That preparation changes how you walk, how you speak, and how you're treated. You no longer freeze when an agent questions you. You respond calmly, clearly, and correctly. And that calm is contagious. Security agents respond to confidence. Gate agents respond to preparedness. Panic creates friction. Knowledge removes it. I want you to remember something important. TSA officers are not villains. They are under pressure, moving thousands of people per hour, trained to stop threats, not manage chronic illness. When you know the law and use the correct language, you make their job easier. You turn a confrontation into a procedure. You stop being the passenger they worry about and become the one they wave through. That is power. I know the world feels louder than it used to. Lines feel longer, rules feel harsher, and I know there's a voice, maybe even from people who love you, saying travel is too complicated now, that you should stay close to home, that it isn't worth the stress. But safety does not come from shrinking your life. It comes from preparing for it. You have earned the right to move through the world with dignity. You have earned the right to protect your health without apology. Your medication is not something to hide. It is the fuel that allows you to hug your grandchildren, walk foreign streets, and sleep peacefully in a new place. Do not let a rushed moment at a checkpoint undo months of planning and joy. Speak up, separate your supplies. Keep your lifeline in your hands. When you do, the airport stops being a threat and becomes what it was always meant to be, a doorway. If this helped you, share it with someone who worries about flying with medication. One conversation could spare them a crisis. And if you have your own experience or question, leave it in the comments. We protect each other by sharing what we know. I'm Mila, your guardian of travel. Pack smart, advocate for yourself, and go make the memories you deserve.